We go through our whole lives thinking that we are solid, tangible beings that are identifiable with a name and an identity. And quantum physics disapproves that, it proves it otherwise, that we are space. And in that space, things happen. They flow, their energy flows, and seeing how it actually works disproves just about everything we think about the world. All of our ideas about who we are and why we're here and where we're going when we die are all just fantasies. There are ideas that are comforting for a childish mentality, but actually, I think it has taken us this long to figure out that we are simple energy flows because we resist it. We do not want to know what we really are. We want to stick to the idea that we are identifiable identities with a profile, that we have certain identifiable qualities that we can be proud of or ashamed of, and we live our lives on that level. And it's very inconvenient for quantum physics to come along and say, we are space. We're actually not even solid. And the idea that who we are is really our sense of identity, our ego, is just a childish fantasy. What we actually are is an expression of the universe. The universe produces all of these life forms, and we are the one that has a concept of who we are. And that concept is a story we tell ourselves that we hope will give us some sense of solidity, because it is very uncomfortable to us to know that ultimately we're not solid, that every element in us is flashing in and out of recognizable form. That is something that sits very uneasily in our minds. So, in order not to deceive ourselves, we might want to just let go of the sense that who we are has a definite name and a definite form, and that will continue on the other side. The other side, I just had a thought. I think what we probably are closer to is a story. I think we are stories. And these stories are, those stories live on. And as long as the stories are told and remembered, we have still some existence. But The closer I get to the exit door in this world, the more I feel like I'm not this person that got a name when I came into the world 85 years ago. I'm not this person who has done all of these things that you can value or blame. I'm basically a story. And that story is alternatively interesting and boring. It has a lot of different elements, and I'm finding it actually a fairly interesting story. Um, it makes me laugh. It, it was lived so unconsciously and so energetically. And I had my pratfalls. I made a lot of mistakes and so on, as any story should do. That's part of a story. You don't want winning every accolade, every prize, every trophy, all the way through from beginning to end. What a boring story that would be. We need failure. We need disaster. We need trying things that don't work. We need misconceptions and illusions. We have an interesting story because we're in a big, long wrestling match with ourselves. So we come to the end of the line and we realize we are either an interesting story or we are a boring story. And I think it's a nice accomplishment to be an interesting story because it means you were really who you were. You really got out and did things and tried things. I remember when my father was just days away from dying, he said, I'm ready to go. I had a good run at it. And now this is the end of my story. And I think that is a brave way to look at it, but it's also clear eyed. It basically just says, I got in and mixed it up and engaged with everything, and I didn't step away and try to be safe the whole time. I took chances. I actually had some big failures and mistakes, and I learned things. And I actually loved people, and people loved me, and I did some good in the world. And yes, I did some bad too. I didn't mean to, but that's my story. I think that is a human story. And out of all of our ambitions, being human, fully human, is a really good thing.